Okay, this is the important keyword. It is a mandatory payment and monetary benefits is given as part of gratuity. Benefits given by the employer to the employee for rendering service continuously for 5 years or more. It is mandatory and monetary benefits usually given at the time of employee separation from the organization or retirement. Amount which is not connected with any consideration and has to be considered and as something given freely for the service that the employees as rendered to the organization for more than 5 years. These are important lump sum amount and which are the condition when the amount is due in case of death, permanent disablement, retirement, superannuation. This is one important slide. So, for the sake of calculation, which we'll understand later means next slide, you can see how the gratuity is calculated, what the formula is used. And since we have a condition of 5 years, that service continuity is important for the sake of calculation for this purpose, this context. So in the Act, there is a list that these are considered as continuity of service. Whenever a person is sick or meeting with an accident for a long-term leave, vacation, absence, so the person is not in the work for a long time, it doesn't mean that the person is discontinued the service. So that will consider as continuity of service. Sometimes the employer will lay off the person for few months, a couple of months. Temporarily, the person is disabled. So in those cases, these are considered as continuity of service. If one lady employee is taking maternity leave, 26 week is a big time. So for the sake of gratuity, all this will be considered as the continuity of service. So in all these cases, the service are continued, for the gratuity calculation purpose. Whenever we are calculating the gratuity, if a person is absent for this reason, these are not considered as a discontinue of the service. This is mentioned in the Gratuity Act. Payment of gratuity. When it will be paid, gratuity shall be payable to an employee at the termination of his employment after he has rendered continuous service for not less than 5 years on the retirement or resignation or the death disablement. According to the Payment of Gratuity Amendment Act, the maximum amount of gratuity payable to the employee should not exceed more than 20 lakhs. There is an amendment, there is a rule. So that is the maximum amount payable to the employee. So in those conditions, gratuity is paid. Then we'll understand the calculation. This is the calculation, section 4, subsection 2, class 1. Graduate's monthly salary. Suppose your monthly salary is 10,000. 10,000 divided by 26. Every month, 26 is the number of working days. So that means the formula will be calculated for 1 month, then divided by 26 into 15. 15 is what? Number of days. That means half month salary. Suppose your salary is 10,000, your gratuity is considered half of that, 5,000, into number of years services, into multiplied by, suppose 8 years you completed in that organization, 9 years or 10 years. So multiplied by 10. 5,000 divided by 26, whatever the amount. 5,000 your 15 days salary, half of the salary, divided by 26 days. 26 days, why it is divided? Because in a month, you will get at least 4 days holiday, Sunday. So 26 working days, whatever your monthly salary, we calculate as 26 divided by 26. And 15 days will be considered half of the month of that salary into how many years you are working. See, number of years is again another rule how to calculate number of years. Suppose you are working 9 years, 4 months. It will be considered as 9 years. 9 years, 7 months. It will be considered as 10 years. 9 years, 6 months, 5 days. It will be considered as 10 years. So once you cross the 6 months limit, it will be considered as 1 full year for the sake of calculation of gratuity. So this is the formula. You can remember or you can have some basic understanding whenever someone is calculating the gratuity. So this formula is applicable across India, every company, every organization, how they calculated. So you can remember or you can understand how it is calculated. It's very simple. Whatever your last drawn salary, monthly salary, so maybe you join 7 years, 5 years before, 10 years before with a small salary, but you are getting a good salary now. What is your last drawn salary? Whatever your current salary, you make it half, 15 days of that salary. And considered every month is a 26 days of working. So you divide by 26, then your whatever number of years is, you understand calculation. So from the joining date you calculate. So if it is more than 6 months, then it will be considered as 1 year. If it is less than 6 months, it will be considered as less year. 9 years, 5 months, 28 days means 9 years. 9 years, 6 months, 1 day means 10 years. So based on that, you will calculate your amount, gratuity amount. So that amount will be given at the time of retirement. And there are rules how many days an employer can take to pay. It is 1 month. So I will give some important act and some important question under this act. That we'll discuss in our next class. Some important act. What is the applicability? One is the gratuity paying paid to the employee and the formula. All this important act I can give you and some important question. we'll discuss in our next class. We'll continue this in our next class. Maybe I will schedule tomorrow or maximum Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.